Past the hour for the second time this season, Atlanta getting hit with snow. The normally busy I-75 northbound was deserted earlier today. Roads were snowy in spots for that morning drive if you managed to venture out. Many schools closed today in the area and states of emergency in Georgia, Alabama, and North Carolina. If you don't have to be out there, please don't. Let the road crews do what they can to get us up and running as soon as possible. And that's the story not only in Atlanta, but a lot of cities across the South and the Mid-Atlantic. And that includes Raleigh, North Carolina, where our Reynolds Wolf is. And we have Mike Seidel standing by in Shreveport with the incredible cold, record-setting cold. In fact, we'll get to Mike in just a minute. Let's head over now to Raleigh, North Carolina with Reynolds Wolf. And Reynolds, it's always tricky when you don't have the visual of the snow piling up on the ground to tell people to sit tight, but it could get pretty nasty there later.
Yeah, we think maybe about 3 to 6 inches of nastiness possible here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Right now, though, we've had quite a bit of a transformation. We start off this morning, really dry conditions. Skies actually partly cloudy at one point. Now the clouds have come in, and with it, you got the snow that's forming. We've had reports of snow over in Charlotte, reports of snowfall in places like Chapel Hill, certainly at Duke University. By the way, all the universities are closed, all the schools are closed, but still plenty of traffic here on Wake Forest Drive. I'm thinking the drive home for these folks by this afternoon might be a little bit different and quite treacherous. Let's dive in the forecast very quickly. As we do so, the story is going to be one where we're going to see the snow, but then as we get to the later evening hours, I think around 10 o'clock, maybe 11 o'clock, we're going to have a transition of drier air coming in, but there's a caveat. It's also going to be colder air. So whatever snow does form, you're going to have ice. It's going to form on bridges and overpasses, so all kinds of problems out there. The Department of Transportation here in North Carolina can only do so much. They've had just so many vehicles, so many crews out there, but still, folks, you got to use common sense. Got to listen to what Maria said. If you can avoid traveling, by all means, do so. Well, I'll tell you what, certainly not the only place that's been affected is not just the South and the Mid-Atlantic, but also far-reaching ramifications from this winter storm all the way up into New England. WBTS's Alicia Palumbo files this report.
Well, it's been snowing here in Worcester since a little before 3 a.m. We've seen the snow change from very light flurries to those much thicker, fluffier flurries, and now we're a bit in between. The issue here is the roadways. While most of the main roads are clear, we're dealing with some slush and some slick spots on the side streets and along the edges here. The plows just hit this stretch of road, and they have been keeping up with this storm. This is not a big storm in terms of New England snowfall, but it is going to drop about 4 to 6 inches when all is said and done today. And the timing of this storm was very tricky. It hit right during the height of the morning commute this morning, so it did make for slower travel conditions. But the good thing is the DPW here had plenty of warning. They were able to salt and sand the roadways, which really helped in keeping these roadways clear. And overall, drivers had said the driving conditions were not that bad this morning. Plow truck operators prepare to be out here for several hours today, and they are ready for this snowfall, and they're ready to take care of this snowfall and clean it up. They welcome snow like this. For now, we're in Worcester, Massachusetts. I'm Alicia Palumbo. Back to you.
Okay, thanks so much for that report. That, of course, the story is what's happening in the Northeast. We're in the Mid-Atlantic, but let's go farther to the west of Shreveport. That's where we find Mike Seidel. Mike.
Good morning, Reynolds, from a very, very cold Shreveport. We dropped down to 13 this morning, the coldest day in 22 years. It's now up to 16. The wind chill is 4. At least the sun is out. And the sun yesterday and the wind, which we still have this wind chill, really helped to clean up the roads. We were out here yesterday at the Pines Road exit here off I-20, and it was a mess. Everything was a skating rink, but it cleaned up nicely. Let me take you to Hoover, Alabama. This is the Birmingham area where they've issued a state of emergency for many counties from there down to Montgomery because of the icy roads. So give it a few hours of sunshine and the breeze, and that should really do a nice job on anything that's hit by the sun. We have another storm to talk about. We could have a big snowfall in the Twin Cities early next week. More on that coming up.